What's up guys, Brownie here coming at you straight from the test server of Raid Shadow Legends, where we are going to look at the 12 new champions that are being added to the game in the next couple of days. Some of them are for the new fusions, the other ones are just new ones because we don't have enough. We're also going to look at obviously the fusion champion a little bit, and then we're also going to cover the new features that are coming to the game, such as the clan quest. It's a little bit different than what I thought it was going to be, but at least you guys are going to have a little bit more information so that you are, I guess, better prepared. Let's get right to it. The first champion to cover is Eurogrim from the Ogryn tribe, support epic Void champion. We've got a triple hit A1 with poisons on each hit, which is great. Then we have a cleanse with a heal single target on the A2. A3 is AoE plays poisons and also continuous heals on all of our allies, which is absolutely fantastic. That is 3 poison debuffs. And to top it off, we have a speed aura for all battles. The next champion is also from the Ogryn tribes. This attack rare force champion, cleverly named a Lumberer, is all about some decreased attack on the A1, but also extending the decreased defense. On the A2, he has the decreased defense, the bigger version of it, on a 75% chance, which is kind of neat. And then he can get a 15% increased crit damage buff on himself, then attacks all enemies. Our next weirdly proportioned champion, called Tumisia, is a Void from the Skinwalker's attack a legendary type, which has a decreased defense on the A1 with 100% chance if there is an HP burn debuff. Then for the A2, we attack all enemies, place HP burn, place a stun if they're above a certain amount of turn meter or a decreased speed. And then we have for the A3 a hard hitting skill if there is HP burned on the target, and then we also decrease the target's turn meter by 15% and an additional 15% for each active HP burn debuff in the battle. So this champion looks absolutely amazing, and the best part is she's kind of immune to stun, sleep, freeze, fear, true fear, and provoke debuffs if there is an HP burn on the enemy. After Ninja being added to the game, we have the next celebrity, which is the Lion King, aka Leorius the Proud. This Void legendary attack Skinwalker's champion is also rocking a couple interesting debuffs, such as decreased defense on the A1. Then we have an AoE double hit. We're also somewhat immune to stun, freeze, sleep, provoke, fear, and true fear if that skill is not on cooldown. For the A3, AoE true fear as well as AoE weaken at the same time. And then for the passive, we sort of go unkillable as we're about to die, and we get stronger the less health that we have. And to top it off, we have a crit rate aura in all battles of 24%. Our next champion sadly looks like he had a rough time. Tolf of the Maimed, this Void epic HP orc champion, has an interesting kit, unique even if I may say. Basically, we cannot crit on the A1, but we heal for 30% of the damage inflicted. Then for the A2, we basically deal pure damage, bringing the champion down to 50% HP, but under 50%, we're going to be dealing damage based on this champion's max HP, and we're going to place a stun. However, if we are attacking bosses, then it's only going to, I guess, scale off of his max HP. The skill or the hit can also not be critical. And finally, for the passive, which is very interesting, decrease the value of all enemy shield buffs by 50% at the start of every turn. Then increases this champion's max HP by the same amount, up to 25% of their max HP. Next up, we have Magnar. This spirit epic HP champion, as well from the Demon Spawn faction, is all about fire, as you can tell by his look. On the A1, we have also decreased defense, but a 100% chance of placing it if there is an HP burn. So a lot of things going on around HP burns. As for the A2, we attack all enemies. We place extra hits on enemies without HP burn debuffs, or if they do have one, then it's a chance at becoming a stun. As for the A3, we attack one enemy, but we do a debuff spread, taking 2 random debuffs from the target and placing them on all enemies under HP burn debuffs, so very conditional. Also increases the duration of the HP burn debuff, but this will not spread the crowd control debuffs, basically just HP burn, poison, decreased defense, weaken, the whole thing, right? And then we also heal by 1% of their max HP every time anyone in the battle takes damage from HP burn. And to finish it off, he has defense aura in the Doom Tower of 30%. Our next freaky looking champ from hell is a rare attack demon spawn of Spirit Affinity. This guy is probably going to be a part of the fusion. He attacks one enemy 2 times. Each hit places decreased defense. So again, a lot of decreased defense and HP burns. Then we attack one enemy, 50% chance of stealing all buffs. The A3 is we swap HP with an enemy, then we get an extra turn, and we have a speed aura of 10% for all battles. Up next, we have our fusion champion, Mother Sibel. This Force Legendary Support Knight Revenant champion is kind of hard to use. I'm not gonna lie, I haven't really found a good use for her on my account so far on the test server. AoE A1, 2 buffs on the A2, great to work with Seer, I guess. Then we sort of have a HP swap or heal an ally on the A3, and finally for the passive, if basically we die we heal, and when we come back to life we heal as well. And to finish off, we have a pretty decent aura, though I'm not gonna lie, 24% in all battles. The next rare champion is also from the Knight Revenant faction. This Attack Void Ashwalker champion basically is, I guess, hard hitting, because if he kills an enemy on the A1 it will reset the cooldown of Devastator, which is the A2, and this attacks one enemy, 65% chance of placing a stun, and decrease the turn meter of all enemies by 10% if this attack is critical. As for the A3, AoE weaken, and we have a speed aura in all battles of 12%. Next up, we have Cornelia. This dwarf epic support magic champion has a chance at increasing the cooldown of one of the target skills by 2 turns at random on the A1. Then we have an AoE place sleep on all enemies for 1 turn. Whenever that gets removed, it might get turned into a fear. And for the A3, we place a sleep on one of our own champions, but we also heal that ally by 50% of their max HP and fills their turn meter by 50% whenever the sleep debuff expires or gets removed. Heals that ally by 100% and completely fill the turn meter debuff if it is lost due to taking damage from an enemy. And we also have a speed aura in all battles. This one is 18%. Next up, we have our sad looking dwarf. Candleguard does not seem to be having a good time in the game so far. This rare attack magic champion is about removing 1 random buff on the A1, or will steal it if there's 3 or more. Then we have an AoE hit with a weaken on of the A2. Finally, we have a 25% increased attack and 50% increased crit rate buff on of this champion for 3 turns before attacking all of them. And finally, to finish it off with our new champions, we have Drogen. The Spirit Epic HP Shadowkin champion has on the A1 a decrease attack, single target. On the A2, we place a shield buff on this champion for 2 turns for 25% of his max HP. Then we attack one enemy, we place a provoke debuff for 1 turn, which cannot be resisted if the target's max HP is equal to or lower than this champion. As for the A3, we still attack one champion, 25% ignore defense, also ignore unkillable and block damage. Finally, for the passive, we receive 25% less damage if this champion's HP drops below 50%, and we have a 25% HP aura for all battles. Now on to some testing. I was very limited in the opponents that I had in the arena. In fact, I only had 1. This is it. So I decided to go with a high resistance team. I put Mother Sibel in a stun set, very high resistance, used the aura of Lydia. Unfortunately, I don't think my opponent either is fully geared, or it just wasn't exactly a good demonstration of what this might look like on the live server. I'm pretty sure this in Platinum would not work. I don't have high enough resistance, but basically I just wanted to emphasize trying to survive and get Mountain King to kill everybody. After that, I set my eyes on Eurogrim. This epic void champion is absolutely amazing. I'm not gonna lie, if he is a part of the fusion of Mother Sibel, I will strongly suggest you get that epic champion instead of the fusion. At least that's what I've observed so far. So this is almost like a Taurus, will work nicely with a Xavier Elenaral for poison explosion because of the way his skills work. A ton of poisons. As you can see right here, I was able to partner him with Mother Sibel in a stun set, high resistance. That guy is in immortal, high resistance, and we're able to take on as a duo the Dragon 25. Now this is not perfect, probably not going to work always. I tried the Ice Golem 25, it did not exactly work, so a little bit more optimization needed, but overall this is a viable strategy if you want to do some food at the same time. All right, so we're going to fast forward to the boss fight, and as you will see, we're going to fill up that bar. We don't have decreased defense, we don't have weaken, we don't have decreased attack, we don't care. We count on the healing. We just have a ton of it, literally a ton of healing with the continuous heals between those two champions, but also with the A3 of Mother Sibel with the block damage, and she has the Bulwark Mastery, for example, so she's able to mitigate a little bit more damage of Eurogram. So overall, pretty decent strategy. Obviously, if he's a part of the fusion, you're not going to get both, but I guess what I'm saying is that, you know, Eurogram is certainly very interesting and could make for a nice addition to your roster. So this is going to end in roughly, I believe, 3 minutes and 40 seconds, which is not too bad. And finally, I tested one more build so far, which is my clan boss team. So I was eager to try this out. I could try other champions. I just got around to doing one test so far. So I replaced Fane in my Batman Forever comp with Tunisia, the new Fox Lady, because she has decreased defense. I do not have weaken, but I also don't bring decreased attack, which is kind of useless on my team. I do bring HP burn along with Farok in the fact we have poisons and HP burns. And as long as an HP burn is up, we're going to take the stun, but we're going to cancel it. Therefore, we're not going to be wasting any turns. So I wanted to see how that was going to be comparable to my typical team. But I'll tell you right now, as you can imagine, losing the weaken is pretty intense. All your other champions are going to deal less damage, even though Tunisia here is going to take more turns technically than Fane. She is in Relentless, by the way, direct swap of the gear. I don't think it was a decent swap. I'm going to say literally Fane in this situation is still better than that champion. I have yet to try Tunisia in, let's say, the arena to see how well she can nuke. That will come a little bit later, but for now, this was a clan boss test with this champion. Don't get me wrong, she's a great option, but being a Void Legendary, the odds of you getting this champion are kind of slim, right? So let's fast forward to the end here to see just how much damage we are going to deal, which is, I'm happy to say, at least it's a 1 key, right? It might not be an amazing 1 key, but I would assume with a little bit more tuning, better gear, we could be a comfortable 1 key. Will this work for all the affinities? Sadly, it would not, because Farrakhan would become the stun target at some point, but at least, again, it's an option. Now on to the really important stuff, the clan improvements. A couple things are different than what I thought they were going to be. For example, we seem to be getting experience as we are completing the quests. Before, I thought it was going to be only a chunk of experience as you finish all 30. Perhaps it is that if you finish 30, you get an extra 500 experience. For the time being, I don't know. You'll also notice that there's no elite quests that can be taken because you need to be clan level 5 to unlock them, which means there's really only 20 quests as we are going to start this. It's also a free-for-all. It means that anybody can come in here and grab whichever quest they want first. So I don't know if there's a way to control this through the clan leader to say only I can assign them, or they can be locked and unlocked for a specific player. But for the time being, players just kind of seem to go in here, grab something. If that player leaves the clan, it is going to fail the quest, and it doesn't look like you can recover that cash shop gold or the experience. It also looks like a couple players here completed some, but it did not give me any cash shop gold, which is sort of what I predicted before. You're only going to get some gold when you are the one completing a quest. Also in here, we do see some of the items as we saw in the preview video, and we also see a Yannicka fragment here. So I would assume this is going to be like Drexstar, maybe a one of. Perhaps it's going to be a rotation of champions, but for now it does look like it is Yannicka. Finally, for the quest, I grabbed one myself today, and I thought it was going to be relatively easy to do. Win a rare shield from a campaign battle, which can only be done on the boss fights. I burnt about 500 energy, and I still don't have it. Look at this one right here. Clear the Ice Golem's peak 200 times. In a week, not anybody really wants to do that. So before I thought players, were gonna fight for this, but now I'm thinking players are gonna end up having to do a quest that they don't really feel like doing just so that the clan can progress. If this is a first come first serve, I can really see how this is still going to be a problem. People are going to log in at the beginning of the week at server reset, which is during the night for me, so I'm clearly going to get screwed, and then people are all going to grab the best quest, and then I'll be left with the really annoying one. So I really hope there's going to be a way for the clan leader to control this. All that said, let's go check out the champion builds that I used so far. Starting with Tunisia, which has the Relentless set from Fane. Here are the total stats. All of her skills are done, and for the Masteries, this is what I used so far. Then we have Mother Sibel with these Masteries. We have all the skills done on her as well, and for the artifacts, we are using a stun set along with 2 immortal pieces. Overall stats, kind of high resistance, a decent amount of accuracy, decent amount of speed, and a relatively high HP. Then the other one that we used so far is basically just Eurogrim, so let's quickly go over this one. Immortal pieces and speed pieces. Total stats, we're looking at about 270 speed, not easy to do. 331 resistance, 200 accuracy, maybe a little bit too low. 3.2k defense, also a little bit too low, especially that I didn't have decreased attack like I said in that team. And then for the skills, they're all done as well. For the Masteries, this is what we are using. So overall, guys, there you have it. This is what I've been able to test so far. Keep tuning in for the rest of the week. We will be going back on the test server. In fact, we're going to be streaming the test server. So if you guys want to see this live, make sure you show up on Twitch. In fact, I'm streaming tonight, 7:30 Eastern time, where I will also have a gem giveaway. All that said, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys later.